Hey everyone, it's day 19 of SSSVEDA Vlog Every Day in April, and today's topic is my favorite year of school. Um, I don't actually have a school year where the entire year was just awesome, and at the end I was like, yes, this was the best year I've ever had. Um, there was definitely high points throughout different years, um, and there was also just bad, just it was just awful. Let me think. Some of the good parts. So I guess I'll just tell you some of the my favorite times of school. Um, Always the end of the year, pretty much. Um, but let me think. I guess in the younger grades, um, we moved. Let me think. I don't even remember my first grade teacher at all. I don't remember anything about first grade. Um, Second grade, we moved in the middle of the year. And if you are a parent, if you have kids, if you're thinking of having kids, here's some advice. If you haven't done this yet and you've already figured it out for yourself, never move if you have kids in the middle of a school year. It's just bad. Um, so I guess I'm not starting off with a good thing. I guess I'm starting off with a bad thing. Um, when I was in second grade, we moved from Michigan to Kentucky. I'm pretty sure it's because my dad got a job transfer, and that's why it was the middle of the year. Like, we didn't have a choice to not move, like wait until summer. Um, but so not only were we moving states, I was, or not just school districts, but it was a different state. So, school districts and states and everything, they teach different curriculum, at different times and whatnot. So wherever my class was at in Michigan, we were either at the very beginning of multiplication or we hadn't even started. But I have a feeling we had just started. Like, we were like at the very, very beginning. And when we moved to Kentucky, we had moved to Kentucky and they were already in like, I don't think they were like in double digit multiplications, but they were like in the two, like whatever, times two, times three, times four, something up like that, which wasn't a huge difference between that and the beginning. But if you're first learning it, yeah, that's a huge difference. And I remember the teacher herself did not keep me in from recess to like catch me up. She had another student do it in like a 5-minute session while the teacher was teaching something else. So I was supposed to pay attention to this other student who talked like a mile a minute and pay attention to the teacher, and I just got behind from the beginning. And I think that's one of the major reasons that I'm so bad at math, is because it just started off on such a bad foot, you know? Um, but yeah, that second year was just awful. There was other things that happened that wasn't good. But third grade, I don't remember a lot of. I had to skip, not skip. I had to repeat third grade because I failed math. Hey, surprise! And out there, I don't know if it's like this for all lower grades, but at least where we were in Kentucky, or at least back then, I don't know if they do this now. Still, if you fail one subject, you have to repeat the entire year. You don't just get to go to summer school or anything like when you're in high school, or some maybe elementary, but the higher grades, maybe they might do it. But anyways, so I had to repeat the entire year, but we were moving to Ohio where my dad had another job transfer. So same company, just, different, just transfers. And so I had my second year of third grade in Ohio, and I loved that teacher. So she was great, Mrs. Buckingham. She was great. She was awesome. I got straight A's one quarter, which I think is the only time in my entire school career that I've ever gotten straight A's, for every subject and everything. Um, she was great. I don't remember what about her had like a really easy time in class, like, you know, and everything. And then during the summer, we moved back to Kentucky, back into the same exact house that we had left because it was on the market the end. We were only in Ohio for like roughly like 9 months. And we had the house, or my parents had the house in Kentucky on the market the entire time. It never sold. So, hey, we just moved right back in. Um, got my same room and everything. The only difference was, you know, how when you move, you repaint and everything to make it more appealing to new people. So my room, when we had moved in, the first time was pink, like a light pink. And before we moved, we painted it and it was more like white. And different times of the day, it would have like a light bluish tint or a light greenish tint. And, you know, depending on how the sun was kind of like hitting the walls and stuff, which was kind of neat, but it wasn't pink. And so I was stuck with a pink wall or non-pink wall. But anyways, it's okay. Um, and we were also moving back or not to Michigan, to Kentucky with a dog. And my mom was pregnant. So that was some different things. And at this point, I was 10 and I was going into fourth grade. And it was kind of different. And I was kind of worried because I would be going back to the same elementary school that I had that's half a second grade and third grade in. But now I was going to be in fourth, and everybody else I'd known when I was there before was going to be in fifth. Well, it didn't really matter. Like, nobody, I think I was afraid that, like, people were going to be like, haha, now you're, you know, you're back there. But, like, I didn't even, like, I rarely interacted with anybody from my old half second or third grade class. So it was just like I was a brand new student, never been there before. Um, so it ended up being really good. So, and then, let me think. So fourth grade was good. So, I mean, pretty good. You know, maybe wasn't a favorite. I don't remember. I'm trying to think of anything specific that happened. No, we're not talking about that. I got a crush on a boy. I don't know if that doesn't count though. That doesn't make it the best year since that never went anywhere. Sorry. Um, uh, I met a kid who I didn't even actually meet him right away, but there was a kid in my grade because you know there was different, you know, a couple fourth grade classes. There was a kid who had the same. We have the same last name, and people started asking me, "Oh, are you his sister?" And I'd be like, "Who? Like, who are you talking about?" They're like, "You know him," you know, and they'd say his name, and I'm like, no. Are you sure? I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty sure that I would know if that was my brother. Um, and it's funny though because his name would have fit in with me and my brother and sister. All our names start with J, and so did this guy, so it totally would have fit in. But no, he's not my brother. And finally, somebody pointed him out to me at lunch one day, and he was like, he's super, like, I think by the time we got to seventh grade, he was like 6'3", and I'm still 5'2". So, no, we're not brothers. We're not siblings. We're not brothers and sisters. No. Um, it was funny though. But yeah, and I'll jump ahead a little bit. After we ended up moving, we moved out of Kentucky to California between 7th and 8th grade, like 5 days after 7th grade ended for me. And I went back the next year to visit for a couple days, and one of my friends um, told me, people still ask him if you're his sister, if he's your sister, or he's your brother. You know that, I get that mixed up. If he's your brother, and I'm like, so they think you just like left him behind? And she goes, yeah, people just think like you left him behind. I'm like, okay, like, but no, we did not just leave him behind on the side of the road. So, but it's kind of funny. But anyway, so, um, and I met two really good friends that I'm still friends with now on Facebook and everything. And I'm not going to say anybody's names. I'll say my computer. Don't do that. Oh my God. My computer's freaking out at me. All right, this video is already 10 minutes long. I gotta hurry. Um, so let me think. Fifth grade, okay. Sixth grade, let's see. Sixth grade, sixth grade. Sixth grade. Oh yes, okay. Another favorite teacher. Um, she started off the year as Miss Hobbs, and when she left, because she left like close to the middle of the year, this was like good and bad. She was Mrs. Chapman. She got married. Um, it was kind of neat because her husband is Rex Chapman. At the time, was on the Charlotte Hornets, and he also played. And then he I can't remember. I remember all this so well. So it was like pretty awesome. Okay, something fell and it freaked me out there. Um, he came in and taught to our classes, which was like awesome. Like kids that were like passing by would be like, in the doorway, which was kind of neat. But and we all got like autographs from him and everything like that, like autograph pictures and stuff. And I still have it somewhere. But and he I remember he hurt himself during practice or something. He like pulled a muscle or something and it was like really bad or something. And he got benched for a while because of it, because he couldn't play because he was hurt. And then he ended up getting traded to a team in Washington State. And so she had to move. And she had like a party for all her classes. And at the party, she told us that she was moving. And it's like wrecked all of us, like all of us. And it was supposed to be like she put like construction paper on the windows, the little window in the door, so that nobody could peek in. And she was like, you can't tell anybody, don't say anything. That way I get to tell the other classes that go after you, that way nobody tells you. Well, it was kind of obvious that it was something bad because we're all leaving class like really upset, and like people were crying, and I mean it was bad. And it was like we were probably devastated and everything, and stuff happened after that. And so yeah, and I mean the teacher who replaced her was good, but it wasn't her, so we probably didn't give him as much respect as we should have as his students, because he wasn't her and we loved her so much. And um oh, that was the year the teacher, the lady that was our math teacher, um she told us this story because we had like a kind of like a wedding shower for Mrs. Chapman when they got married. And her husband was supposed to be there, but he couldn't be there. He sent her this gorgeous bouquet of roses. I remember that. He would send her a new bouquet. Every Monday there would be a new bouquet of roses on her desk. He would send her a new, when he was on the road playing. And anyways, we had like a party, and one of the teachers told the story, and it was a scary story-ish. And she like screams boo at us. And oh my gosh, like it literally scared the entire room. Mrs. Chapman was standing at the back of the class, and when the boo part came, she screamed and went running from the room, which was kind of funny. But anyways, and I kind of remember the story, but I don't remember all of it, so I'm not even going to tell it. And it's 14 minutes. Okay, great. So anyways, that was sixth grade. Seventh grade was good. It was pretty good. Then we moved. Eighth grade. Okay. So eighth grade. So in Kentucky, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade is in a middle school. And then you go to high school. Well, here in California, the elementary schools go to 8th grade. So I went from an elementary school to a middle school, back to an elementary school, and then high school for 9th grade. 9, 10, 11, 12. There was nothing super eventful, I mean, I had friends, I had fun, but I didn't have like, I tried out for cheerleading for my sophomore year. I don't know why. I don't think I ever would have been able to afford it because it would have cost like $2,000 or something for the outfits and the equipment and all that stuff, megaphones and jackets and all that stuff. But I think I just wanted to try out just to give it a go. Um, it was interesting, but it was like a good experience. Um, and I wasn't like super disappointed. I was disappointed for like a minute, when I didn't get it. And I was like, okay, you know. Um, and then let me think. And then senior year, the first half of senior year, between the start of the year and just after Christmas break ended, like after we came back, were just pure just hell. Um, for like the entire school, but mostly the seniors. Um, it'll be 97. So it'll be 18 years, I think, then, this year. Let's see. 97. I'm bad at math, I told you. 97, 2000. Yeah. Yeah, dummy. Okay. So, yeah. Yes, I just had to pull out a calculator. Um, so yeah, 18 years this year, September, started hell. Um, one of the girls that I was friends with that had graduated in June, so this is 1997. She had graduated in June. She was out with some friends who I knew, and her brother and his girlfriend, and they were coming home. They would gone to the roller rink in the next town, one of the next towns, and were coming back, and her car had car trouble. And while they were waiting for her mom to come out and jump the car, a drunk driver came up and hit the car. Her brother and his girlfriend were in another car, so they were okay. Um, actually passed his sister's car on the road and didn't think it was his sister because he thought that she was behind them, somewhere back behind them. He thought he had gotten on the road first. And her two friends that were sitting in the back seat were okay. I think one, she got a concussion and he broke his arm, but they were okay. And my friend that was in the front seat, she died. She pretty much died, and I'm going to cry now. She pretty much died, I think it was almost instantly, and it was a drunk driving accident, and it was just, so it happened over the weekend, and my first period teacher told our class, and it was really bad. Um, her funeral was like packed. Like there was people having to stand at the back of the room and on the sides and everything because so many people went, and it was just really bad. And then that was like, I think it was the 13th of September. And then October 2nd comes and something else happened. Um, and we found out, I don't know if that was a weekend. I don't think that was a weekend. So we go to the school the next day and nobody knows anything going on. Get in my first period class and one of the guidance counselors is in the room. And it was like, okay. And I'm like observant. Like I can tell like people, if something's going on, the way people are acting, like their body language and everything. And so the teacher and the guidance counselor, they're standing like in the back of, in the corner kind of thing. And they're like, whispering to each other. And I'm just like, oh God. And I just got this bad feeling in the pit of my stomach. And sure enough, one of the seniors, she was in my first period class. And she had been driving home from school. She had been driving a friend home from school who was a sophomore. And they got in a car accident. And they got hit by a big rig. And my classmate, the senior, she died. Her friend was in, I'm assuming the ICU for like 2 weeks. And she was having, swelling in her brain. And the family had to make the decision to let her go after 2 weeks. So that was bad. Like the whole first, and that's why they had that one to cry again. They had to have the guidance counselor come in. That's why they had a guidance counselor tell us, because she was in that class. I don't know if they had one go to all the other classes. I don't think so, because there was only like 2 or 3 guidance counselors for the school, so that wouldn't have worked. I think it was just for our class because she was in our class, and somebody was late to school that day that was in our class. And so we come in and we're like crying, and she starts to walk in the room, and one of our classmates, her friends, jumps up and says, "Can I go tell her? Can I take her outside for a minute?" And the teacher goes, "Yeah, go ahead." And she's like, "Wait, what? What's going on?" Like, because he didn't even say why. And so we took her outside, and we could hear her crying, and we were all still crying because she walked in like, "What's going on?" And her best friend, the girl who passed away, her best friend was in the class, and she wasn't there that day. She was with the family. And that was really bad. And her funeral also was really packed. And me and the girl who had passed away, the senior, we were in the same English class the year before. And the teacher that we had was only there that year, our junior year. And that teacher had had a bad experience at the end of the year, the the weekend right before the last week of school. The teacher, her husband, had been on a business trip to Japan for like a month. He came home on a Friday. Saturday morning, he went out jogging and he had a heart attack and he passed away. So, I think she lives in one of the next towns. So I think to be closer to her kids, she worked at a school like in their district, just so she didn't have to do that commute home, since it would take a little bit. I mean, it wasn't like a long drive. It was probably like, well, with regular no traffic, it would be like 20, 30 minutes. But for a time a teacher would go home, it'd be like right in mega traffic time. So, but anyways, even saw her at the funeral. And I was going to go up and talk to her afterwards. And because we didn't get to see her once the thing happened with her husband, she didn't come to school that last week, so we never got to say, like, we got to like write like notes to her, but we never actually got to talk to her. So I still wanted to go up to her, but I couldn't find her after the funeral. So then after that, and like after the day that we found out, that day in October that she died, when I went to my second period class, I was the only senior in the class, and the rest were sophomores and freshmen. And one of the freshmen, who I've never wanted to punch somebody so bad up until that point, and he was like, "All the seniors are dying," and I wanted to punch him so bad. I don't know if he remembered if I was a senior or not, but I was just like, and I remember being like, "Shut up!" Like, I was just like, "Just shut up," and he was like, "Okay," and because I never acted like that, you know. And the teacher was just, she was rude about it. Like, she was like, "I don't care what happened. We're doing work today and nobody's getting out of it." And it was like, okay, like, that's rude. Like, I wasn't expecting all the teachers to be like, "We're not doing anything today but because of what happened." But don't sit there and pretend like it's not a big deal that something happened. I don't know. Maybe she also forgot that there was a senior in the class, you know? And so then everything was okay ish. But every morning when I would get to school, every morning between when I would wake up and just after first period started, I would just have this feeling of dread in my stomach that something was going to happen. You know, that something could happen. You know, what are we going to find out today? And once the class started and he wasn't, or until I could see that he wasn't like really upset about something, the teacher, then I knew that we were okay, that nothing had happened to anybody. Um, but until then, I was just like a nervous wreck. And then in November, I found out that one of the guys in my English class, his mother had passed away. I couldn't say anything to him because I wasn't supposed to know. I worked in the office and I happened to see something, and so I couldn't say anything to him. And then my parents decided to get a divorce, and I was 18. I knew what was going on. I heard the fights and everything. I wasn't naive about it. And I thought it was for the better. I mean, most kids won't say that when they find out their parents are going to get divorced, but I was just like, yeah, that's probably for the better. So just after Christmas, me and my mom moved out, and she wasn't feeling well, and she ended up having to go into the hospital, get admitted for a couple of days. And one of my friends and her mom were going to come look at the new house that we were renting, and not the new house, the house that we were renting was new to us, And I called her to say, hey, don't come over, my mom did get admitted, so I'm here at the hospital with her. And my friend was like, oh, okay, we'll plan another day. And then she's like, are you sitting down? And I go, no, but I'm okay. I go, what? But I had the back of my knees, like I was right up against a chair, so I was just sit. And it would have been okay, which was good. And she's like, so-and-so's dead. And I was like, wait, what? And she told me again, and I just went plop. And yeah, I don't know. Supposedly it was, but it just, then I heard other things that said maybe it wasn't, but I never, and it was bad. And so, yeah. And then after that, nobody passed away. Thank goodness. And so it got better. The senior year got better. And then at graduation, they had the two seniors that passed away, they had their moms come up and get their diplomas. And that was, I mean, I like that they did that, but it was really sad. But yeah, I guess my sober grad trip was fun. I didn't do the Disneyland thing. There was too many rules and restrictions. I'm not wearing heels to walk around Disneyland. That's just crazy. But they had, since we are like an hour and a half from San Francisco, we took buses to San Francisco, got on a boat, and went out around the bay. And that was good until we had to turn around, but we went out just past one of the bridges, and so that was in rougher waters where we turned around, and it was like pretty crazy. I'm going like this. But once we got back to the bay, we were better. But it was fun. There was just like dancing and like little snacks. There wasn't like, I know some have like casino nights or something, but it was a lot of fun. It wasn't just, us sitting in a room or something, like I don't know. I don't know what other people do for sober grads. But it was fun. So yeah, there was good times, bad times. I think I talk more about bad times. But yeah, so that's how my favorite school years. I'm not even gonna go into college because this video is already pretty long. But yeah, that's it. If you have questions, if anyone wants me to elaborate on anything, I don't know, because I kind of went off on tangents sometimes, I think. Just leave me a message in the comments, or a question in the comments, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.